Welcome to Behind the Smile with Dr. Shaggy. I'm a cosmetic dentist and the founder of Veneer Lounge and Modern Bite Dentistry. In this show, we go beyond the smile, highlighting all the incredible journeys of the amazing people around me. Together, we'll uncover their stories of success and inspiration, hoping to empower others to reach their full potential. Let's dive in and discover what's behind the smile. Welcome to Behind the Smile with Dr. Shaggy. Today we have the honor and privilege to have the Osa Odighizuwa here with us today. Osa, how's your day going?
It's going great. Had a nice little dentist appointment actually just a couple hours ago, so hasn't been too long since I've seen you.
It's great to see you. It's been a long time.
Great to see you again too.
Okay, so I would love to get started talking about your wrestling career because I had no idea, at such a young age, you wrestled. And I was like so surprised and excited about this. Let's talk about that.
Wrestling was actually, I started wrestling before I started playing football. I was 10 years old and I was in elementary school. My brother was in middle school at the time. And the middle school and the elementary school were like right here, right across the street from each other. So I would always have to go over there and just watch practice until my mom picked us up after practice, and I'd just be super bored watching. So I begged the wrestling coach if I could practice with them. I didn't even get to compete. I just didn't want to sit there and watch anymore. Yeah. So I went and got a physical and I signed a little paperwork, and then I was able to practice with them. I was getting my ass kicked, but it was just better than sitting there watching. Yeah. And that's how I kind of started my wrestling career.
Okay, so as far as getting your ass kicked, so what made you continue on doing it?
It was just fun. And then once my brother got into high school, I would practice with the high schoolers, and it was fine. I would lose to people older than me at the time, but then anytime I wrestled someone my age, I'd win. So I had little successes here and there that let me know I was solid at wrestling. So it was something that I just stuck with.
Okay, so obviously, did it get better?
Yeah, okay. I wrestled from the time I was 10 to the time I graduated high school. It was, like I said, it was a little rough to start. So by the time I was a freshman in high school, I was pretty good. I would have been varsity, but my brother was at the same exact weight as me. He was a senior, I was a freshman, we were both 195. So he was varsity, I was JV at 195. I made it to the state tournament. I was one match away from placing. I want to say I was 40 something and 7 that year, and then I went undefeated for the last 3 years of high school.
Wow. Okay, so did something click at some point that you were all right, now I've got this wrestling thing going?
Kind of. It just it was something that I did fully year round. There was camps that we did in the summertime. The only time I wasn't wrestling was when I was doing football. So during wrestling season, obviously track, summertime, the whole time until football season, then I stopped wrestling. And after I won my state title in wrestling, I realized I was the reason why I'm so good at wrestling is because I never stop. It's year round, right? So then when I started doing football workouts year round and started basically putting that same effort into football, I started to see some of the same success. And I figured out that was kind of the formula.
Well, yeah, consistency, right? And just keeping up with it.
Yeah.
And different types of training too, I'm sure, as well. All right, speaking of your brothers, so you have 3.
Yep.
Okay, what was that like growing up? 4 boys, your poor mommy.
Yeah, a lot of food, a lot of money basically all the money went to groceries. Yeah. I gained 10 or 15 pounds every time one of my brothers graduated high school. Because it was just less sharing going on, so I was just gaining weight every time one of them left the house. A lot of ass kickings, like I said, at a young age. But once I got around people that were my age, and I saw how my brothers were treated by their peers, I'm okay, this is how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? And I could go into that setting with no fear because this is what I'm dealing with at home. I know nobody is gonna give me any type of problems that my brothers are giving me, so I'll be fine.
It was just on and upward from there compared to what was going on at home. Okay, favorite meal that your mommy will make for you?
Rice and stew, probably.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Some Nigerian food. Yes. I could eat that at least once a day or once a week. I like to change it up, but if I had to eat one thing, I'd probably choose rice and stew.
Yeah, oh, that sounds so good. I'm the same way. There's nothing like a home cooked meal that moms can make.
And you could change out whatever protein, like you put fish in there, chicken, beef, anything.
Okay, I might have to text her for the
Oh
recipe.
yeah, you gotta pull up for some rice and stew.
Yes, for sure. Okay, let's talk about football, because you started off with wrestling. You put that same effort towards football, but what got you to get into football?
So my brother, my oldest brother, 6 years older than me, his first year at UCLA was my first year playing football ever. So I was like 12. I didn't know anything about football. I just knew like my brother was a D lineman, and then they played like fullback and running back in high school. So I was like, I'm gonna just do that. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, we got the same genes. Doctor said I'm gonna be the biggest one, so I might as well just be a D lineman.
Yeah.
You know? So that's kind of how I started playing football and just following in my brother's footsteps.
Okay, so did you enjoy it, or did you just want to follow your brother's footsteps?
It was really fun. I would have played earlier. Like I always liked playing football. Like we would do two-hand touch and like tackle football in the yard and stuff. But before 7th grade, it was like youth football, and you couldn't rent out any gear. Like they didn't give you any loaner gear, so you had to buy it all yourself. And we didn't have money for that, so we just had to wait until you had like the loaner gear that you would get for the season, and then you give it back at the end.
Very interesting.
And my brother, they had to like beg my mom to let him play football because she didn't want any of us to get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of like a thing with a lot of Nigerian parents. It might not be about something at first, but then it's like once you start to see success, and then she's like, "Oh, you can get free college? Y'all are go ahead. You know, you
Work
get school
harder.
paid for. Yeah.
Work harder. Yeah, I mean, same thing, right? I feel like any parent that sees that potential of like helping you with the future, I think that says a lot about your parents too. They want to support you to get further. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Best memory, childhood, your favorite memory from childhood?
Childhood memory? I don't know if I say I have a favorite one. I feel like I enjoyed my childhood quite a bit. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of like, I played outside a bunch. We used to play cops and robbers, hide and seek, just finding little things to do. We would even like ride ripsticks around the circle and try and knock each other off. Like just finding little things to do outside. Because I was like an Xbox kid at first, then the Xbox broke, and then after that my mom didn't get us another one. It was just outside.
Yeah.
And then basically went on from that into like sports and athletics.
That's the best thing to do, is just stay outside instead of being glued to like a TV too. So
yeah, and in Oregon, like in the summertime, it doesn't get dark until like 10.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because it's up north, so
yeah.
it's
Okay,
light outside
what was your
for a
curfew?
very long time. Pretty much when it got dark outside, and even then sometimes like we would be outside. My mom worked night shift a lot, so my brothers would be in charge. They'll let us go outside after dark.
Okay, so was Mama Obi like a pretty, maybe like, was she pretty strict on you?
Yes.
On
My
all the
two
boys,
older
or?
brothers ruined it for me, and my brother Eo were like the younger end because they were out there wilding. And so by the time we got to high school, she's like, I'm not letting you do this. I'm not stupid. Like, you're not going here. Like, you know what I mean? You're not going to this party, or like, you're not doing any of that. Like, had to beg her to let me go to my friend's house to stay the night because, you know, she was pretty strict and very protective.
Oh, as she should be.
Yeah, understandably so.
Yeah. Okay, I love your relationship with your family and your mom. I would love to dive into the foundation that y'all founded and started.
Okay, so the foundation is self-titled. It's the Odighizuwa Foundation. And the reason why we started is because having a single mother, you know, knowing the struggles that she went through and just being in this place where we're at now and being where I'm at, I just know that we didn't get here on our own. Like, my mom sacrificed a ton for us, but there was a lot of people that poured into us and sacrificed and just showed a ton of kindness. And that was some of the reason why I went back to Portland and did my camp. I got to see a lot of those people, make sure I say thank you. A lot of father figures that I had from coaching, and I'm just letting them know, like, if any of the kindness that I show these kids or these families has like half as much impact on my life as you guys had on on their life as you guys had on mine, like, I'm moving in the right direction. So just trying to pay it forward.
I love that. And many blessings come that way as well. So
Yeah.
speaking of that, as far as like mentors and stuff that you've had, anyone really stick out that you feel like has been there and challenged you and, you know, helped you?
I got quite a few. Like, Greg Carradine is one. Shout out to you, Coach C, Coach Dorning, Coach Holyoke, Coach Wood. a lot of my coaches, like I was saying, they were the main ones in my life, challenging me, pushing me to be the best that I could, and making sure that I was a good person too, you know?
So you have a beautiful heart, a very giving heart, and I know your mom, AB, has the same kind of heart, but where does that stem from?
I mean, I grew up in church, so a lot of that was from church as well, and just like the love that I had in my house, my mom, seeing the way that she became like one of the church leaders, like when we were going to church at the time, like, and people looked at her kind of like a mom as well, like the women in the church looked at her like a mom, you know what I mean? And then just watching the way my brothers worked and their generosity as well. And like I said, the kindness that was shown to me, like I received a lot of love growing up, so there was just a lot of love in my heart, you know?
I love that you are giving it back, and I feel like that's so important because, like you said, you never know who you're going to help and inspire and motivate as well, like as they have to you. So amazing. Okay, let's go into the fun stuff. Like, I had no idea that you were into anime until you had it on the TV, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" How did that start up?
I basically grew up on anime, to be honest. Like, grew up watching like Dragon Ball Z. That was like one of my favorites, Naruto, Bleach, stuff like that. Saturday morning cartoons, Toonami at night on Saturdays as well. And then like once I was in middle school, I'd just be on the computer. Like I'll find like animes on Hulu to watch, or like I started a Funimation account, and I was like one of those kids, like I'd be up, because I had to wait for everyone else to use the computer because I was the youngest, so I had to wait for everyone to go to sleep so I could like binge watch a bunch of different shows, and I'd be up to like 3 in the morning sometimes in the summer just watching anime. So it's kind of been something that I was into for a long time, and I really got back into it when I was in college as well. And I feel like when I came back and started watching it at an older age, I could appreciate, like before it was just like cool to watch, but like once you get older, you can start to appreciate some of the life lessons that it teaches you and like some of the parallels that you could draw.
Okay, let's talk about that, because I heard that there's lots of storyline, and I hate that I'm naive about this, but I've heard this time and time again about anime, but what stands out as far as the anime storyline to you?
Some of the ones that I like Naruto is a pretty long one. Like it follows a kid from the time he's 12 to the time he's 17, and he starts out as an orphan, like no one likes him, you know what I mean? And then by the end of the story, he's like the hero of the whole village and like saves the world, ends up becoming the leader of his village, which is his dream the whole time. No one believed he could do it. He went through a lot of hardship, had to persevere. Like his friend left the village, he went and brought him back and like fixed that friendship and stuff like that. Like, so you just watch and you're just like, at first you're kind of like, man, this is just cool to watch. But then it's like, I went back and watched it during COVID, and I'm just looking at like the way he's training, the way he's like working towards his dream. And I'm like, damn, like I can relate to that so much, because I'm training the same way. I'm out here working out multiple times in a day, trying to get to the NFL and chasing my dreams too. So that's something that I found like super relatable.
That's amazing. Okay, speaking of training and growing and trying to be better and everything, I love how you and Micah's relationship is, y'all are just so close. And how does that relationship help push you more? Do y'all help each other out? Tell me about that relationship.
1000%. You know, because Micah plays at an extremely high level, and so coming in and just like having that competition, like someone that's there pushing you as well, like, you know, and just having similar mentalities. Like I just noticed that that's someone, he likes to get his work in as well. He's always going to get it done and make sure that he's at his best. So just having someone like that that's able to push me and someone to compete with, and kind of like a rabbit, we're kind of, you know what I mean, and pacemakers for each other. So I feel like having someone that's like-minded in the same room is super dope.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it pushes you. Do y'all like kind of compete with each other?
A little bit. I mean, I don't like talk about it as much, but I'm definitely the kind of guy that's like, I'm gonna see how you're working and just let that be motivation for myself. And I'm sure Mike is the same way. Like, you know what I mean? Like we we can peep the work ethic and respect it and just make sure like, and we step on that field together, we're going to make sure we're on point.
Oh, that's so exciting. Sorry, I'm really excited about this season. Okay, so what's the big thing about the beach workouts, like sand workouts? I noticed that y'all have been doing that recently.
Definitely did a sand workout this last Friday. Sand is just good because sometimes like when you're on the ground, it's like beating on your joints a lot. So when you get on a softer surface like sand, it makes you work a little bit harder, but it also takes some pressure off of your joints so you can get a little bit of therapy through that movement and just like a little bit of healing.
That makes sense. And it's a lot harder, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like sand volleyball, I'm like yo,
you're
I'm
breathing
good.
harder, like, you know what I mean? You got to work harder, but it doesn't feel like you're working harder.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
At least not on your joints.
Yeah, I can see that with the sand, like pushing off and stuff better. Okay. With the different kind of workouts like that, you're also, you told me the other day, not the reformer Pilates, or is it Pilates? Legree, yes.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I do Pilates as well. I do them at the same studio, but Legree is like Pilates on steroids. I'm not gonna lie, it's just like way harder because Pilates you can kind of, and not to say that Pilates is easy, but like you do get a little bit more rest in Pilates than you will with Legree because you're staying in like the position the whole time. So like if you're coming in down into a lunge, you'll be able to come all the way up out of the lunge in Pilates, whereas like Legree you come like just up to where you're almost out of it and then you go right back down and you're going slow for like a 4 to 8 count. So it's pretty intense.
Did you seek that out, or did it come up? Like, how did you find Legree?
A friend of mine actually showed me Legree, and that's how I met my Pilates teacher. Her name is Jen Whitley, and she's the owner of Regen Pilates in Prosper. We're super close now. Like,
aww.
Jen, that's my girl. So shout out to you, Jen. But yeah, so once I got into that, and I've been looking to get into it anyways. Like, it's something that a lot of guys had been doing. Something that I heard, like some of the greatest guys, like Aaron Donald, was into. So I'm like, I'm gonna try and see what that's about. And then it kind of just came together at the perfect time, going into 2023 season.
Very, very nice. That's great that you have these different workouts. Is that something that you wanted to do for yourself, or do you have like coaches kind of guiding you as far as workouts and stuff goes?
Definitely things that I would put together, like boxing was something that I like to do and something I did during COVID. I knew yoga was something that I wanted to get into just because like I did yoga a little bit, like P90X, so nothing crazy. I would do that little DVD that they did like when I was in high school. So that was something that I wanted to get back into, and like once I had more time, like I wasn't doing class all the time, I knew that's something that I'd be able to have a lot more time and put into, like energy, because being a student athlete is very, very difficult. You know what I mean? Like you have 2 full-time jobs and you're trying to balance them out. So once you get to the league, it's kind of nice to be able to like just focus on one thing and put everything into that.
Yeah, makes sense. Totally makes sense. Speaking of that, what was the biggest challenge going from like college to NFL?
Moving all my stuff.
That was the most challenging thing?
I mean, and my mindset is a little bit different, but I feel like having my older brother put things into perspective for me quite a bit, and I'm very blessed to have, and that's one of the mentors that I didn't mention earlier when you asked, my oldest brother, because he played in the NFL for a couple of years, and having someone that went before me that kind of told me like the do's and the don'ts, you know what I mean, and things that I want to get into and things to try, things to consider, like, you know, and just kind of helping me map out my approach to football was very helpful. So I feel like I approached college, I would say, with a professional mindset, and the way I approach and like handle myself and the way I went about my routine, I feel like has always been at a professional level. So I think it was pretty easy when I got to the league, especially not having school with that. I'm like, okay, now I can just make sure I'm finding different ways and like leaving no stones unturned in my way of getting better.
I love it. That totally makes sense. So at what point was it before college or during college that you were like, you know what, I'm determined I want to go into the NFL?
Before. I mean, when I got my first college offer, I'm like, this is the start of my opportunity to make it to the NFL. Like my brother had got drafted my junior year of high school, so like it was real, you know what I mean? Because it was right there in front of me, like this is what's possible, if you work hard, if you handle your business, if you approach it that way, like all these things are possible. So I just knew, I'm like, I don't want to go to college just for my dream to end in 4 years. Like, I'm gonna make sure I handle business. And my brothers always tell me, like, don't be one of those guys that talks about it and then isn't really putting in that work. You know what I mean? You're gonna see guys like that, but it's like, you got to make sure you're actually doing it and you're actually following through what you want to get done.
That's amazing that you had that mentorship, because obviously look now, right? So that work and effort obviously paid off.
Yeah, we did a lot of things too. Like in the wintertime, we'll sit down, we'll watch my film, we'll look at things that I have to work on.
Wow.
We'll write down goals and like a plan of action towards those goals and everything, so that like when I went into the off season, coming back off of winter break at UCLA, I'd be able to like have a clear direction for where I wanted things to go. And I feel like once we started doing that, that's really where I started to see a lot of change at like, and a lot of results and stuff like that at UCLA. Like the first 2 years, not to say it wasn't good, but like I feel like after I sat down with him for like the first time and we really started to like plan out like our goals and do a lot of goal setting and like planning, is when things start to pick up.
Okay, now let me ask you about this goal planning. Are you someone that like writes it down? Is it on your phone, mirror? Like, how do you
we wrote it down on a piece of paper, and then I just kept it somewhere. Like, I wouldn't have to look at it all the time, but just having it written somewhere and knowing that it's there, and then it's just in my mind. And it might not just be something that I think about, but it's like in the back of my mind just always, you know what I mean? Like I know exactly why. And that's kind of like one of the things that I was reading a book last couple of years. It's called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And I didn't even realize that's what it was, but it's like when you come to that difficult time, that's the first thing you're gonna ask yourself, why am I doing this? You know what I mean? Like, so if you don't have an answer for that, or you don't have like a clear goal or like a direction that you're going, it's gonna be super easy and that much easier to give up and stop. So having a clear direction for those difficult times when you're like really wondering like, man, I don't wanna do this, or like, I don't wanna get up, like, why am I doing this to myself right now? Like, you need to have goals and things that you can come back to and be like, this is the reason.
What is your why?
My family, you know what I mean? That's like my biggest why for sure. But then also just like legacy and things like that too. There's things that I want to get done as well. I'm not going to go too much into that, but like there's a lot of things that I want to get done, and just the competitor in me wants to be great. So.
Oh, well, you're there, sir. That's awesome. Okay, now let's talk about the fun stuff. Your fashion sense is amazing. Can we talk about the fashion, the modeling, like all these fun things?
Yeah, I mean, I did a little bit of modeling in 2023. That was like swimwear stuff. Got some stuff coming up. Wanting to do Dallas Fashion Week and get into that. Do some like actual clothing and stuff. Shout out to my agent Sam for setting that up. He knows what I like. He's always looking for opportunities for me to get into things that I like off the field. So awesome to have an agent like Sam. Everyone needs a Sam if you're an athlete or someone that has an agent. And then as far as like fashion sense, I've always been very creative. I wanted to be an inventor when I was growing up. So I was going into UCLA thinking I was going to be an engineer. Got there. One, I didn't set myself up because I wasn't like the greatest student in high school, and like the habits that you build in high school as far as like school and studying matter so much. But what I've realized about that was it was just an outlet for my creativity and my imagination. You know what I mean? So like clothing and like arts and stuff like that is still a very powerful creative outlet. So I just kind of pivoted into that. And like dressing myself and been playing with like designing a little bit. So
I can't wait to see. By the way, everyone, Osa complimented me on my outfit today. So
she does have a great outfit.
Thanks, guys. So is it men's line, women's line? What are you kind of thinking?
I mean, probably men's to start, but I like being able to style women. I did a little bit of styling for. We did a Stride for Strength. We did 10 makeovers at our gala for the foundation. So we got moms, we got them all outfits, had them walk across the stage. My cousin did their hair. We had a makeup artist there, and we gave them all makeovers.
That's beautiful. I remember when you told me about the foundation, how you were styling these women. I didn't know it was like a passion of yours. I was like, okay, Osa, look at you stepping up. Like, this is awesome. That is so great. Okay, let's go back to football, because during off season you were presented an awesome opportunity to sign back on with the Cowboys. What made you want to stick around with the Cowboys, except besides your awesome dentist?
I mean, I love the team. You know what I mean? I love Dallas. I love being out here. I wouldn't really want to try and start over somewhere else when I've put so much into this organization and just being here, starting my foundation and like starting to build into the community and like pour into this community as well. Like leaving and starting over is probably about the last thing that I would have wanted. So going into my last year, I just was fighting to make myself valuable enough to be someone that they would want to bring back. It was a lot of guys that were going into free agency, and I was like, I'm going to make it as hard as possible for them to get rid of me.
Nice.
You know?
Nice. Well, you really have done that, because you've definitely stepped up, and I'm really excited to cheer you on this coming season. It's going to be so great. Okay, so any advice for anyone out there that's trying to decide what to do for their future? They're not quite sure where to go. What advice do you have for them?
I would say finding that direction is probably one of the most important things, because like I was saying, like it's hard to be disciplined and like do all these difficult things, because it's not even about motivation. You're not always going to want to do like the hard things. You're not always going to want to sacrifice and say no to the things that you want to do that might not be the best for you. You need to have a reason why, because that's the first thing that you're going to ask yourself is why not? Why can't I do this? Why do I have to do this? You know what I mean? You have to have an answer to that question, or it's going to be too easy to not do anything. So I would say trying to find things that you like, find passions that you have, even if it's something small, like and maybe it's not about the passion that you have, something about the activity that you like, that you can draw and enjoy about something else, which is part of the reason why I started like the foundation, is because my mom was in the medical industry for so long and wasn't really bearing like fruit from that. She went to school to get qualified, you know what I mean? Like was in the industry for a very long time, like 13 plus years, and like could never really advance and like move up. There wasn't like a lot of upward mobility for her. So at a certain point, she ended up leaving the medical industry, and we realized it's not even about like being a nurse. She just had a heart to help people. You know what I mean? So it's like if you can find something that you enjoy doing, maybe it's not that exact thing, or if you find something that you really enjoy about what you're doing and like find that in other activities. But like finding a purpose is definitely job number one, because you need to have like a clear reason for why you're doing what you're doing.
Very well said. I love that. Thank you so much for your time,
Of
Osa.
course.
I'm super pumped for this season.
Thank you.
I'm going to get your
It's gonna be
jersey.
a
I hope
fun
you'll
season.
sign it.
Of course.
But thank you for your time. And everyone out there, like Osa said, just find that passion, that purpose, the reason why is going to be the reason that keeps you going. So I greatly appreciate your time. Thanks for listening in to Behind the Smile with Dr. Shaggy. Don't forget to smile, guys.